This week on the audio podcast, episode 73, minor update. The long-awaited adapter cable thingy arrives and Scott's well excited. Sam has been getting wet with waves and Adam is ready to step in as the ongoing Sibelius saga continues, and he seems underwhelmed by the arrival of SoundForge for Mac. All this and more on this week's The Audio Podcast. There you go. It's Monday the 8th of October 2012. This is the Audio Podcast, episode 73. Minor update. I'm Scott Hewitt. This week I'm joined by...
Samuel Freeman, hello.
Hi, Sam.
And a very small little MP3 player, which is obscuring me, Adam Jansch. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
Was that product placement? What's going on there?
Well, I didn't mean it to be. I was just completely off the cuff. I should have done... No, there's still a logo on the back of it as well. But it's not bad. It plays Flax.
It's a little FLAC player then. Very good.
Yeah.
There's no product placement on the Audio Podcast.
I didn't tell you what it was. You have to go and figure that out for yourself. And people who are listening on the on audio only will have no idea what the hell's going on. So remember, everyone, that you can go and sign up for the podcast feed if you want just the audio, or you can see us on the YouTube via Google Plus Hangout style situation. If you want to see what I put up in front of the camera there, and you get all the info at that for that kind of stuff at theaudiopodcast.co.uk. Sweet, huh?
Theaudiopodcast.co.uk, where the show notes are at /show/73. And are we ready to jump into the news?
Let's go for it. Straight into the news.
Huh?
Okay. First of all, the Sound on Sound Awards for 2013 have their voting opening, or is open now. So you can go through and vote for things if you want.
Yay.
Yay.
Is there like a limited set of options, or do you just pick the thing that you want to vote for?
There's limited options.
Yeah. So there's how many categories? I think there's 15 categories with kind of 10 or 12 things in each category. And you can choose none if you have no...
It's not like 4 options each or something. There's a decent set of choices per category.
I'm gonna vote now. I'm gonna have a 828 Mark III. I am gonna choose. I'm gonna go for Live. Ableton Live is my favorite DAW software.
And I think for your headphones, you should pick Yogurt Pot headphones.
I will look for them. I'm
1970s Yogurt Pot headphones. That's what I'm going to call those, Scott. That's what I'm going to call those.
Yogurt Pot headphones.
Yeah.
They're nice. Any plug-in effects? Oh, here you can have earcam tools. How about that? The Flux earcam tools. I'm definitely choosing those.
Scott, the problem I have with this is that you're just picking at random almost.
Not everything I've selected so far I've used.
Yeah, but have you used all of the things on that list?
Well, no, but I don't think many people have used all of the things. How many people own 12 sound cards?
No, I don't. I only own 2 sound cards.
Precisely.
And neither of them will be on that list. I'm absolutely certain of it.
I probably own 12 analog to digital converters, but...
That's because 8 of them are in your Behringer doodad.
Oh yeah, and then there's a couple of those and a couple of other sound cards. Anyway, I was doing my plug-in processing here. I think you've got to choose auto-tune, because let's face it, it's just added so much to our lives. Hardware controller?
They die a little more inside. Oh.
I've selected the iPad as my hardware controller of choice.
Yeah, AC7. Yeah, okay.
Is it, look at that Jupiter. I really enjoyed playing with Jupiter, actually.
I could do the one that's on the Android phone. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, go for that there.
I mean, really, is this going to be the audio podcast now? Like, you just going through an online form? That's a lot of fun. Whoa.
I presumed somebody was going to stop me before I got this far through it. I'll just go see if there's Yogurt Pot headphones available. No, alas, that is not a category available to us. I'm no longer interested. Oh, wow, there's I have to give them a whole load of information about myself at the end.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm no longer interested.
No one does that on the internet.
Precisely. Well,
you mean you didn't read the terms and conditions before you started? What a waste of time, eh? That's the first thing I did before. So you don't want to be entered into the prize draw to win some stuff?
I wasn't even aware there was one.
There you go. All right. So next up in the news is a minor update on. It was, when was it? Show 70? No, well, that's the no. 67. Show 67, which is only a few numbers away, but it was 2 months ago. We talked to the guy from SibeliusUsers.org, and just last week they handed over a big fat petition to a representative of Avid, and yeah, so that's in the news. There you go. You guys read this?
Yeah.
I read the note. Is there anything more to it?
Well, I put the link across as a comment just over to a kind of full kind of report on what happened, and
yeah, that link was already there, Scott. It's already there.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so it was. Oh well.
But the interesting thing is that there was an Avid guy there, so maybe there's been a little bit of back and forth between them.
Oh,
that seems to be what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying not surprisingly, Avid are keen to present the impression that they are interested in keeping Sibelius going. There were some interesting bits. I'm saying the installed user base is about 500,000. Sibelius 7 has been the slowest uptake of any Sibelius release ever, apparently, but that's kind of fun.
I think we'll count that down to Muse score.
Yeah, maybe so. Why not? Our coverage of Muse score in particular, I think, would have been the key element there.
Let's get a little graph that says when the audio podcast mentioned Muse score, and then correlate it with Sibelius 7 sales, and you'll see a huge dip when the two situations occur at the same time. But no, I don't think that would have happened.
For people who are playing audio podcast trivia alongside us here, I wonder if anybody knows when we interviewed the MuseScore team. I have my suspicion it was show 68.
Well, yes,
it was the week after.
It was the week after, so... Well done, basic arithmetic.
I really hope there are people out there who play like audio podcast trivia. That would be fantastic.
If you can give the show title, that'd be even more impressive off the top of your head. What was show 68 called?
Muse Score something.
No, I think it probably was just Muse Score actually. But anyway, Avid would like you to know that they're committed to keeping Sibelius.
And not Vorjak.
But that's not a surprise considering it's integrated into Pro Tools. I don't know.
And that they make money selling it to you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Well, there we go. You know, that's great. Anyway, I'm saying we had Derek on the show. We chatted over with him. You can listen back to that interview on show 67. You know, I thought we gave him a fair hearing on the show. I don't think any of the three of us really love Sibelius with a fond affection, but that's not to say that it isn't what it is, and a lot of people have a lot of investment in it, and hence they have a concern about its future, which is fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Awesome. So if I was using Sibelius, I'd be probably writing notated music, and I might need some orchestra to assist me with that practice.
Well, okay. So 1 year on from Steve Jobs.
You skipped one out of...
No, I know. It was a joke.
Oh, good.
No. I mean, Scott was heading towards the Vienna Symphonic Library, and they have an offer for... Is it just for this month?
Yeah.
But obviously all the unis have just started up again, so this is obviously correlated with that, this offer, which is 25% discount in an educational institution, student-teacher type role. If you have that, you probably need to show your card, scan it or something, and send it across to them, and they'll say, yeah, okay, 25% off. I'd imagine that's how it works.
Yep, and in addition to the 25% off the product, off the actual software kind of products, you can actually get 30% off sample libraries as well at the same time. Just for the month of October.
Now, how much does it normally cost?
I didn't look at that bit.
Because I would imagine that this kind of thing would cost a huge amount of money.
I was clicking around on the website to try and find that out, but I just found it really not very much fun to navigate their site, so I gave up.
Is it worse than nativeinstruments.com?
Yes.
No. Yes. No, I don't know.
It's on par.
It's different. It's bad in a different way.
A flute, the full sample library for a flute is €130.
130 euros, okay. But
It's
then the
cheaper than buying a
flute.
flute.
But the thing is, the flute's a fairly simple instrument in relation to a string ensemble with all the different kind of playing styles, because they tend to focus more on the strings. Those will be the deeper packs, the packs that have more programming depth in them, and so they'll probably be more expensive. I'm guessing. Anyway, 130 euros for some flutes, but with a 25% discount. Try and do that in your head.
30% discount it would be, because that's a sample library.
Oh, that's a sample library. Oh.
Yeah, the string section, the strings complete full. That's wow, €4,280.
Maybe I was right then. 4,000.
Your 30% off is a good deal.
But with the students having to pay like 12 grand a year with tuition fees, how are they going to be able? Not 12 grand a year, 8 grand a year tuition fees. How are they going to buy Vienna Symphonic Library full orchestra pack for 4,000? Problematic. Anyway, we'll move on, because it's very simple. That story was very simple, and we're just pondering around it now.
I thought we extended it quite well, though, in terms of thrilling coverage.
Yeah,
So,
we padded it out. I did.
Fantastically so. So, obviously, October the 5th just passed, marked the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Steve Jobs, of founder of Apple, or co-founder of Apple, perhaps.
Co-founder, because I think Wozniak was the other guy.
Yeah.
Scott linked to the Wikipedia article for Steve Jobs, and I was going through the revisions to see if there was anything interesting to say, like anything that people had changed or were disputing in there. I couldn't find anything interesting, except that Wozniak came up quite a lot when people were trying to in the edits. So, but yeah.
Well, Wozniak is a nice anti-hero, isn't he? I think in the entire story. Like, we shouldn't get too distracted by that, but if you kind of think that like what Apple have done is kind of cool, but you kind of have misgivings about part of the corporateness of it, then you'll probably find that Wozniak is your real hero. Maybe.
He's the antithesis to the corporality of Apple.
Corporality.
Not Apple Core, but Apple Inc.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff. So, you know, I don't think there's anything else really to say about it other than it struck me as the moment had passed by, it seemed appropriate to just mention it. And, you know, there you go. So, they had quite a nice kind of put together little kind of slideshow that replaced their front page for a bit, the Apple Store front page, which I thought was nice.
Oh, I was out all day, I didn't see it. But Scott, I have a question for you.
Yes, Adam.
What's all this Amplitude stuff about?
So, Amplitude are running a promotion. Now, this I personally think is one of the most appears to be one of the most complicated promotions of all time, but it actually isn't. But it does. So, it's basically a buy one get one free on credit packs. However, if enough people buy one and get one free, then everybody gets a extra one.
Nice. Try and do that in a supermarket.
Yeah. So there are 342 people have taken up the offer. There are 658 offers left, and if 658 people take up that offer in the next 23 days, everybody will get a third one for free. How about that?
Spread the cred.
And these are gig credit packs. So does that allow you to kind of buy a particular set of things, or something from a particular set of things?
Yeah, so any of the Amplitude kind of simulations or plugins, that sort of stuff in there as well. The bit I find most interesting is the, and kudos to them as well for it, is the way they have kind of nicely related it to the current financial climate. and woes. So we have finally an economic stimulus package that works. Double your interest, inflation is good. I thought that was nice. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, this promotion's good. Well, it started already, and it's good to the 31st of October 2012. So if you're listening to us months behind, then obviously you're missing out. So you should try and catch up.
Scott, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Do the Amplitude guys, have they got AAX plugins at all? Have they ported their stuff to AAX?
I don't know. We'd have to go have a look.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look because
Oh.
all of you Pro Tools users out there, or newish Pro Tools, you can get a minor update to Pro Tools, which is 10.3.1. It's been qualified, so that's the Avid stamp of approval. Bang, tick, and it's recommended for macOS 10.8 and Windows 7 SP1. And we've got a link to where you can download it on the show notes at theaudiopodcast.co.uk. That's nice, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is.
And Scott, you've actually gone through this, and there are some things here that you like.
Well, like is a strong word. Highlights. I read the README. I read the Mac README because I have a little bit of involvement with some maintenance on some Pro Tools systems at the moment. So I read the.
It's all right. You don't have to lie. You just like reading the Pro Tools READMEs when you got a spare minute.
But
I don't. I've read them in the past, and I didn't bother this time.
The thing that I love about them, though, this is. I don't know if you saw this, but the very top one. So this is an issue now resolved in the update. Unwanted data is no longer appended to the end of recorded passes under certain conditions. It's like
that's like atmospheric conditions. Like, if it's more than 80% humidity, then this data gets added onto the end of your audio files.
But I just thought it was fantastic. It's like, if it's raining outside, there's a blast of white noise at the end of every recording or something. It's like. But
if the price of beer goes up by a penny, then all of your things are time shifted by like 3 samples, and phase problems occur all over the shop.
Yeah. Like,
that reference is an old synthesizer joke, an analog synthesizer joke.
That's nice. I like it. But
Thanks.
Like I just had so much fun reading the README. Like the next one down on Pro Tools HDX systems, 192K sessions are now free of unwanted noises in some specific mixer configurations. Like if you're running at 192K, like at full maximum possible quality, then you'd really want there to be no unwanted noise running around in the background, wouldn't you?
Scott, this is
great.
Progress. When was the last time Apple released a Logic update? You don't have that bit of information there, Scott. I know you don't.
I don't, but I was trying to work out what the current Steve Jobs meme is. Is it am I right in thinking it wouldn't have happened if Steve was here? And I was just thinking that would be really appropriate as well to that one.
Yes, apart from I don't think Steve Jobs cared that much about Logic.
I suspect you are right. I'm sure I'm sure the Logic people out there will get an update.
Oh, do you think it'll go up to 9.1.8?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
After the 9.1.7 update that was about 18 months ago.
If they would have maintained parity with the previous OS numbers, is it what 9.8.2? Was that the last OS 9 update?
No, it didn't get. It was 9.2.3 or 9.2.2 definitely. Was there a 9.3.1 which was also semi-compatible with the new version of macOS 10 that was coming out at the time? I'm not sure. That might have been a lab release.
And I think there was wasn't there an OS 9 update which fixed compatibility for classic mode? Oh, I think I'm on fire.
Ooh.
Carry on, guys.
Okay.
Hooray! You're going to be talking about Apple stuff that's really old and dead and no one knows
There probably
about.
was. The thing is that 9.2.3 was great. I really liked it. You don't know. What? Should we move on without Scott? What do you want to do?
I don't care, Adam. That's the problem. Sometimes I try to pretend that I do, and sometimes I do. Let's move on. I mean, he's gonna be sad that he's missed the start of this, but it's how this is on fire. What are you gonna do? Maybe he got. Maybe his house got struck by thunder, lightning bolts, and he's on
from
Firewire
Steve
or
Jobs,
something.
who
Like
because we were
is that a
taking
link?
no, well we missed SoundForge Pro 10 arrives.
Oh yeah, I read that. No, I can't see it in my tabs. Oh,
But do you want to do the other one first?
cool.
Because
Okay, so Sony have released it.
It says Thunderbolt on it.
Oh yeah, Thunderbolt. Awesome.
Right. Well, I was hoping.
Hello again.
I was hoping just before Scott put his headphones on that we would just start talking about the new Top Lap site and make it seem like we were at the end of the show. But no, we haven't done that, Scott. We've stumbled multiple times on missing stories and spelling errors. So we are now at SoundForge Pro 10 arrives.
Oh wow, that's like a major update, not a minor one.
Ooh, that's the link. Ah. See, I don't know if that's. I don't know anything about SoundForge apart from Sony bought it. Did Sony buy it?
Yep.
And
it is
that's
now
all I
a
know.
Sony product. Yeah.
Well, no, it's been a Sony product for years.
All right then.
Crikey.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'll defer to your superior knowledge on this matter and allow you to run the story first. Please carry on.
Okay. So SoundForge Pro 10 has arrived. It's a major update, and of course, it now supports macOS 10.
Boom.
That's the extent of my knowledge, and I literally just read that off the notes there.
Well, it's important to note, Adam, whenever you're in this situation of wanting to extend the story slightly, it's nice to rely on the blurb that the marketing people have written for us.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
you're new to editing audio or you're a serious audio engineer, there is a SoundForge product that is right for you.
That was it. That's the blurb. That's not the blurb. That's the tagline.
No, that's part of the blurb. The tagline is record, edit, produce. The complete SoundForge family of applications.
So the only bit of the blurb you put in was the first paragraph of the blurb, which is really the introduction to the blurb.
Well, of course. I'm not going to copy and paste the blurb. All of it. Anyway, so
that'd be plagiarism.
Why not? I would.
So SoundForge Pro Mac 1.0. That's got to be 10, and they don't mean 1.0. Maybe they do mean 1.0. Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
maybe it goes back to
26995
1.0 or something.
Yeah, and of course the excitement for this is obviously because Peak is dead. So.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you'd like to use SoundForge Pro 10.
How much does it cost?
1.0 Mac. $269.95 in dollars.
Okay. It's probably does quite a lot of stuff. I use a audio editor called Twisted Wave, which you can get on the Mac App Store for about 40 quid. And it probably isn't as fully featured, but it actually is very good. It's a nice, simple program, and it's handy. It's pretty sweet. So a little plug there from me. That wasn't in the notes.
That's nice, Adam. You can send us the link or add it as a comment yourself. Just put it in the comment there. Be like, Adam endorses this instead.
Twisted
Wave. Yeah, and you can get it for iPad as well, but I've only used the Mac version. What does it have?
So the last time, I've not used SoundForge for years, but I used to use it all the time, and it had a really good feature where when you select a region, it would have like a little crosshair where the center and the quarter parts were. So if you were trying to extract a loop or something, then you could see if you were lined up with various beats. And I've never seen that in any other audio editor.
Oh, I'm not sure if Twisted Wave has that, because I haven't used Twisted Wave like that. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, it's good for formats. It has access to lots of different formats, so it can open things like Flax and Ogg Vorbis and all this kind of stuff. You can audition left or right or both. You know, you can do all the classic types of editing and processing and stuff.
Crossfades, normalizations, fade in, fade out, diver corrections. Yeah,
and you can put together effects. You can apply VST effects to the audio and make a stack of effects if you want to apply the same stack to multiple bits of audio.
I was going to ask about that. because I noticed on the SoundForge site that they've got a link to their scripting forum, which suggests that you can script SoundForge, which sounds a pretty cool feature. And I had a look at the forum and saw some examples, and it's quite a C-like syntax in scripting, so it's probably quite powerful stuff you can do. We're getting confused now. We're talking about two different editors, but yeah. Anyway,
that's in SoundForge, so that side of scripting. There.
Yes.
Not as off topic as me, but that's fine. Now, though, we get to a very significant story, probably the most significant story we've ever had on the audio podcast. Scott or Sam, take it away.
So, it has finally happened. After months of anticipation, a collection of jokes stretching back almost a season. The Thunderbolt to Firewire adapter exists. And not only does it exist, it has been reviewed by somebody else.
Now, I have to stop you for a second there, Scott, because according to the notes here, it's actually a Thunderbolt to Firewire adapter.
Oh.
You weren't there when me and Sam were talking about it a minute ago. But anyway, minor spelling issue aside, yes. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not interested. I don't have a Thunderbolt port.
How can you not be interested?
Because I don't have a Thunderbolt port.
But
I thought you had a MacBook Air.
Yeah, but I have the one before they released it with a Thunderbolt port. It's got a mini. What's it called? The mini display port or whatever.
Yeah. So it's the same size, shapey thing,
but not Fire Thunderbolt. Oh well.
Oh well. Well, you know what? The basic summary is that it works, which, not surprisingly, you would hope when it's actually just a cable adapter. But
how much is it?
Oh, didn't we work that out last time? It's like 25 quid or something like that.
So it is actually a lot more affordable than the cinema display solution that we discussed maybe a week or two ago.
Yes, but you don't get a cinema display. Yes, it's a lot more compact, but you don't get a cinema display out of it. That's the only negative feature of it. Really.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So, and it is quite exciting because obviously Thunderbolt has massive amounts of additional capacity on top of Firewire. So there are like a whole load of, potential scenarios that will now kind of come into play and that you could potentially do. I was thinking about this in my mind. I was kind of having a mental exercise, but you've always been, if you consider something like an 828, obviously I know Mark II hardware very well, but something like an 828, you could have ADAT running in and out of it as well, but that was actually more audio than you could put up and down the Firewire pipe, because you would max out Firewire 400 there, and Firewire 800 seemed to max out as well. But I wonder if it's now the point where you could run Firewire 800 over a Thunderbolt connection and be able to actually push, 32 channels of audio back and forth at the same time. It might be that the extra capacity on the bus is there because you could mount them as separate devices, or so that could be quite interesting. Thunderbolt could potentially unite kind of Firewire interfaces into a kind of competitive space against something like MADI as a technology, which I thought was that's quite an interesting idea, perhaps, as a
consumer side of MADI, the consumer version of MADI, kind of like there's SPDIF and there's AES EBU digital stereo. Do you think that's kind of it's not exactly the same analogy, because those two are the same protocol but with different connectors, different kinds of cable, basically.
And they're obviously just stereo digital transports, whereas MADI allows you to do multi-channel.
But MADI has been creeping into the high end of the low end, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you've been able to start getting an interface that you would have in your home studio that has MADI involved. I imagine it would probably be RME kind of who would have first brought that kind of thing in at the lower end. So they'll probably kind of clash a bit. Well, they'll be fine. But because Thunderbolt is something that's built into your computer and MADI is not, I think that's the key factor.
Oh, I think Thunderbolt could be a great... It could potentially be a great kind of protocol. I probably still stand by my statement that it offers far more bandwidth than the vast majority of people ever need. And I think from an audio production point of view, I'm not aware of that many times I've sat down and thought to myself, oh, I just don't have the bandwidth on a Firewire bus. And I suspect most people are in a similar situation, if not a lesser situation to that. I'm saying, I remember I tried to run 16 channels of audio. Actually, no, it was more than 16. It was all of them, including the headphones, out of an 828 with a ADAT breakout box attached to it. And that was when I realized that the channels start to go a little bit flaky if you do all of them. But I suspect a lot of people have never actually tried to do that on their sound card, so they probably aren't even aware that that's a problem at times. So, you know.
The review that you've linked to highlights the problem of having different devices so having a hard drive and the audio interface on the Firewire bus at the same time. That is a problem I've come across where...
Oh. I think Sam has disappeared in the middle of his inside. Or maybe just give him a moment just to drop back in. But I
think he's back.
He's back? Sam, yeah. We missed everything.
Never mind.
You were just saying about hard drives.
I was just saying about... Yep, and how that I have had problems in the past with... Am I still there?
Kind of. There's a weird delay between the video and the audio. I think the audio is delayed and the video's in time, which is weird. It's usually the other way around.
Okay.
I think what Sam was pointing out to is, though, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, because I seem to have a slightly more stable connection, but what you're pointing out is the fact that if you try and, while you can daisy chain these devices together, if you plug a hard drive in and also run a sound card at the same time, you can start to get kind of interference in terms of latency and occasional kind of jitter between the two things, and you can end up with the sound card dropping a bit or the hard drive dropping a little bit as well. And that is something that Thunderbolt is designed with that in mind and to stop it from happening. But I've been reading a lot of kind of reports of people suggesting that it isn't actually successfully doing that particularly. So,
well, it's been a problem all the way back to SCSI and before. It's just it's slightly easier to plug the things in now, and they're faster. Yeah.
So Thunderbolt is an extension of the PCI bus. I'm saying that's essentially what it really... That's what it was built at. That was the kind of model it's been built on top of, and that's why you can put Thunderbolt down it. I'm saying you can actually even put USB down. You can put USB down and Firewire down a Thunderbolt port if you wanted to. It's the equivalent of having a USB card plugged into a PCI slot in your computer is essentially what that would be. It's just a matter of having the correct adapter cables and people making them for uses that they're required for. So I think it, I think we got to face it. If we're in the Apple ecosystem, then Firewire is gone and it's been replaced by Thunderbolt. And there is a Thunderbolt to Firewire adapter, which means that for those of us who have an investment in Firewire sound cards, such as myself, it's now possible for me to actually upgrade to a new Mac, and I can buy this adapter and run all my sound cards on it, which is what I'll probably do now. I suspect I'll replace, buy a new adapter and be done, and that will move me through again. So. I think that's cool. And considering that Motu just put another update, obviously we reported about it last week, but I got the Motu update, so I now have open sound control over QMix running on my 828, on my Mark II 828, which I'm very happy about. That's a really kind of got a whole new collection of uses for it now. So if you're out there and you have any Mark II, Mark III Motu hardware, before you throw it away, you should just look at it for a minute and think that's actually a digital mixer that I can control over Wi-Fi, because that's actually what it is now. So.
And women are going to be attracted to me, or men are going to be attracted to me.
Yes. We didn't put that story in. Oh, you're not even aware of that. Okay.
Is that a real story, or are you kidding?
No, that would have been the greatest lead-in to the story that I didn't put in the show this week. There was a gender story which I felt we were ill-qualified to discuss and only likely to offend listeners, so I just didn't include it in any way whatsoever.
And I did the best lead up to it. Oh, well, that's a shame.
But with that done, we have made it to the end of the news. It's plunder time.
Plunder time. Do you like what I did there?
Yeah.
Plunderlicious. Well done. I did, yeah.
So,
Say Plunderlicious.
if we had our pirate ship,
Yes,
I'm moving us along. If we had our pirate ship, we might want to check it would float before we would set sail on the open seas.
Not me.
And our dear friend in the middle between us right now, Mr. Samuel Freeman, has an exciting video which would be an opportunity for this.
Hooray. I still think there's a bit of a delay going on.
Hooray, so hopefully I won't drop out when I start speaking this time. Yes, Scott suggested I put this in as Plunder, so I did. Why not? I created it. I made it this week. I edited together some HD video for the first time. I've only ever done lo-fi video before, but it's still a fair lo-fi production. But this is the thing that I'm down in Plymouth working on at the moment. It's a crazy composition interdisciplinary project for ocean tank, big wave tank and electronics, and people doing water drumming in another wave tank, which is up above it. It's a very short video. It's kind of, with extremely high speed speaking by Mr. Dr. Alexis Kirk, who is often very hyperactive and very excited, and quite rightly so, because this is a crazy project for the opening of a new building where they've got this brand new facility for making waves, and it's a lot of fun. I've been synthesizing ocean waves, and yeah, there you go.
Nice.
That's the Plunder.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. I thought that was cool. The video's cool. People should go check it out. If you're interested, then hey, you should send Sam an email, and that would be why not? Why not do that? How about the next item of Plunder?
It looks to me like it's about Marks and Spencer's.
Yes, I noticed that as well. But it isn't. It isn't. Michael, I guess it'd be Michael. Michael Heron has an article about mid-side recording as a technique, which I guess to many of our listeners they would be familiar with. But an interesting thing that I saw about it is when he talks about what he calls the double MS technique, which generates a 5.0 mix as well. And he actually discusses he discusses a particular kind of technique he uses when he's doing MS-based recordings for 5.0 systems, in terms of not having too much spatialization in the rear channels, which I thought was an interesting kind of discussion, and that's what really kind of led me to sort of plunderize this item. Plunder. Indeed. Yeah. So I thought that was cool, you know?
It is pretty cool. Like, when I was scanning down it, seeing the picture of these 3 microphones all loaded, pointing in different directions is, I guess, the thing. I haven't read this, but this is what you're referring to. I started to read it, and maybe I will now. You've got my attention with that. Yeah.
It's not a massive read. It's worth the 5 minutes it'll take you to read it. And there is a cool photo of microphones, which is always kind of neat. Another cool thing that you might want to go check out really quickly is Top Lab have a new website, which is kind of far more organized than the previous wiki-based version was. An experience that we on the audio podcast can relate back to. And that's kind of, I thought it was cool. There's a whole load of cool stuff going on in live coding right now, and there's a cool new website, so it's worth going and checking it out. So you should.
Hooray.
I would recommend it to you.
Hooray.
Hooray, that brought us to the end of the Plunder, which in actual fact, hooray has brought us to the end of this week's The Audio Podcast.
Now I think we should remind our listeners, of course, you can go to the audiopodcast.co.uk website. You can read today's show notes. You can indeed read the show notes of all of the audio podcast shows, and if you really want to listen to them, you can do that too.
Awesome.
But I'd recommend the more recent ones with the YouTube feed, because you get to see us and all of our little mannerisms. I think it's pretty fun. I like this new format we're doing here, Scott. I like the Google plus Hangout formula. I think it's cool.
I like it too. I enjoy it very much, and that's all that really matters, is that we have fun, which is nice.
Yeah. If it were really horrible, I probably wouldn't do it.
Well, that's fair enough.
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, this was episode 73 of the audio podcast minor update. I'm Scott Hewitt.
I'm Sam Freeman.
And I am indeed Adam Jansch.
Goodbye.